Well, hi there. This is Dave Dubeau with the Canadian Rent-to-Own three-way payday. And if you're watching this online presentation, that means that you registered for one of my recent Canadian Rent-to-Own three-way payday live events. However, for one reason or another, perhaps you weren't able to make it that day, or you came out to the event and you just want to see all this fantastic information once again. In either case, welcome, and let's get started. So let's paint the picture first. So have you ever wondered what it would feel like to quit your job and be a full-time real estate investor? How about getting $500, $800, even $1,000 a month positive cash flow from a single family home? How'd you like to replace your full-time income with just 4 or 5 little rent-to-own deals? How about doing what you want, when you want, and with whom you want, and not ever having to deal with the typical pain in the you-know-what tenants and toilet issues that most landlords face? So, how would you like me to share with you how to get a deal in the next 60 to 90 days that will make you $20,000, $30,000, even $40,000 in profits? How'd you like to be able to replace your current JOB with just a few easy little rent-to-own deals? In fact, talking about JOBs, how'd you like to be able to fire your boss? You know what boss is when you spell it backwards? It's double SOB. How'd you like to be able to fire that guy? And how would you like a proven step-by-step system that will virtually guarantee you doing a profitable deal? Well, I hope that's what you want, because that's what you're going to be getting on this presentation. So let's get going. So again, sometimes I have little technical difficulties, but we make sure that it works, and it is working. So here we go. So in the next 75 minutes, I'm going to promise you 2 things. How many things? 2 things. I'm going to show you, that's the first thing, and I'm going to teach you, that's the second thing, how to do these rent-to-own deals in Canada, no matter where you are. So let me ask you a question. Are you ready to learn how to make big money with rent-to-own real estate investing? I sure hope so. That's what we're going to be talking about. So again, on this presentation, we're going to be looking at cutting-edge strategies for creating 5 times, 8 times, even 10 times or more the average cash flow of traditional buy and hold properties. I'm going to show you how to get into rent-to-own real estate investing with no money down and not even having to find investors, and where your credit is irrelevant and you're at practically no risk. How would you like that? Plus, I'm going to show you how to virtually eliminate tenant and toilet headaches forever, and my 5 secret steps to financial freedom through rent-to-own real estate investing. So let's jump right in. So I'm going to compare and contrast traditional buy and hold real estate investing with rent-to-own real estate investing. Now, for you traditional buy and hold folks out there, don't take offense. It is a phenomenal strategy. I do it myself. I have a 6-plex and I have a commercial property myself, which is long-term buy and hold. And it is a very, very good strategy for long-term wealth growth. That's very, very true. However, I'm going to show you the pros of rent-to-own real estate investing and how that can coincide very nicely with what you're doing with traditional buy and hold. So let's jump into that. So traditional buy and hold, one of the problems is very low net cash flow. My good friend Ken Beaton, who's a professional real estate investor here in Canada, has over 120 doors in his portfolio. And Ken tells me that he's shooting for $50 to $75 per door net positive cash flow every month. Well, that's okay if you've got 120 doors, but getting from 0 to that 120 doors is probably a big leap for most of us. And how many of those deals at $50 to $75 a month would you need in order to replace your current income? I'll let you figure that out in your head, but I'll give you the answer right now. You need a lot. That's what you need. Versus rent-to-own real estate investing, where we get phenomenal cash flow. We can get $500, $800, $1,000 a month or more from one little single-family home. So that's 5, 8, 10 times the traditional cash flow or more compared to normal buy and hold properties. Next thing with traditional landlording and buy and hold is you have to do the landlord thing. You have to deal with those 3 a.m. plugged toilet calls from your tenants. When you're doing rent-to-own real estate investing the right way, the way I teach it, it virtually eliminates all of your tenant and toilet headaches. Buy and hold is a long-term gig. We're looking at 7, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. That's the norm. With rent-to-own real estate investing, the way I do it, we're looking at quick turns. 2 to 3 years are the time frames that we look at for this. With traditional buy and hold, you might have an idea of what you want to do with the property, what your exit strategy is going to be, but you don't know exactly because you don't know exactly when you're going to be getting out of it or what the market's going to be like at that time. With rent to own, you've got a very defined entry and exit strategy. You know exactly when you're getting into it, what your costs are, when you're getting out of the deal, and what your profits are going to be. Everything's very easy to measure because it's such a short-term kind of a deal. And plus, with the way I'm going to show you how to do this, you can do it with low to no risk and even no money down. All right, so here's a sample deal of one of my properties here in Kamloops. One of the deals I've actually got up and on the go right now. This particular property, I got $12,000 up front as a non-refundable option fee, getting outstanding monthly cash flow of $1,112.33 each and every month, net cash flow. And we're going to see a nice little payday at the end of just over $2,300 as well. So that's the kind of deals I'm talking about. And if I can do this in Kamloops, you can definitely do this where you're at as well. All right, going on to our next slide. So what do you think? Do you think I might have something to offer you at the end of this presentation? Well, of course I do. I won't disappoint you. So I want to get you so excited about rent-to-own real estate investing that you can't wait to get going with my new system, the rent-to-own cash-on-demand system for Canadians. And I really believe that the time is now to get involved in rent-to-own real estate investing. Why? Because technology has made this way easier than ever before. Now we can have things set up that all of the heavy lifting is taken care of by technology. This is truly a ground floor opportunity because there isn't much good competition out there. Sure, there are other folks doing rent-to-own real estate investing, but not very many of them are doing it properly. Not very many of them are treating it like a business. I'm going to show you exactly how to set this up on autopilot so that you've got a serious rent-to-own business that's going to work very, very well for you. And then, of course, this is a system made by Canadians, yours truly, I'm a Canadian, for Canadians in the Canadian marketplace. Unlike all of the stuff that comes in from our American neighbors down south, which doesn't quite work here in Canada. All right, so what I'd like to do right now, in a moment I'm going to show you and teach you how to get started making money fast with rent-to-own real estate investing. What I'm going to do is show you my step-by-step system to get $500, $800, even $1,000 or more per month positive cash flow from a single-family home. But before I do this, I want to tell you a little bit about my story and my background so that you know what qualifies me to talk to you about this subject, and you can see why we're here today. All right? So again, I'm a redneck guy from a little town near Fort St. John, BC. The town's called Taylor. And our new claim to fame is that this was the setting for CBC's Village on a Diet. All right, so my hometown's claim to fame is we're full of fat people. Okay, when I was growing up there were a grand total of 800 people in the town, and since then it has ballooned up to about 1,400 people now. Get it? Ballooned up, Village on a Diet, all that. Okay, the jokes don't get much better, folks, so bear with me if you would. You'll see that top left picture. There's myself and a bunch of my buddies. I am the short guy with the big mouth in the middle, and some things just don't really change that much over time, except for my hairline, unfortunately. All right, so after I graduated from high school, I tried to get into UBC, the University of British Columbia. They wouldn't let me in, so I had to do 1 year at community college to get my grades up. Then I went to UBC, and my study habits didn't improve very much there, so I did manage to get through, and I graduated with a BA in psychology. Now, most people think a BA stands for Bachelor of Arts. My definition is, when it comes to a psychology degree, it's a basically asinine degree in psychology. I graduated way back in 1990, and unless you've got some gray hair around the edges like I do, you might not remember what the economy was like back then, but basically it was in the dumpster. It was a real flat economy, a bit of a recession, kind of similar to what's going on in some areas right now. So people weren't bashing down my door with great job offers for me with my little basically asinine degree in psychology, so I decided to go travel around and see a bit of the world. Went down to beautiful Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, spent a little over a year there kind of doing the beach bum thing, had a lot of fun. One of the jobs that I had, you can see the top left picture there, I was an extra on a TV series that was being filmed there. It was a kind of a weird thing. It was a joint Canadian-Israeli production filmed in Mexico for American television. and it was a show called Sweating Bullets. And if you don't recall the name of that show, that's probably because you never saw it. I think there was only like 5 or 6 episodes that got aired before it got pulled off pulled off the TV. But it was a lot of fun while it lasted. I did a few other jobs as well. After that, I decided to keep traveling along, and I went down through Mexico and Guatemala and Central America, picked up Spanish along the way, and I ended up in beautiful Costa Rica. Absolutely fell in love with the country, with the people, with the climate, with the culture, with one person in specifically, that's for sure. And I thought, what the heck? Here I was, 23, 24 years old. I had about $800 to my name. I was in a foreign country, in a foreign language. I thought, why don't I start my own business? How tough could it be? So it was kind of poetic justice. I was actually a Canadian wetback in a Central American country. I was an illegal alien working in Costa Rica. So I started up a language training company, and we would send teachers out to corporations to train their employees and their executives about how to speak English. I met my lovely wife Susie, and we got married. She made an honest man out of me, an illegal man as well, and we had our 2 children, Amy and Andy, who were born in Costa Rica. That picture in the bottom there, that's my family. They're definitely my why. That's why I do what I do. It's all about my family. So that's a little bit about me. A bit more about me. In 2003, we decided to move back to Canada. And a lot of people say, Dave, what the heck were you thinking? You left tropical paradise to come back to Canada and settle down in Kamloops of all places. And I say, well, unless you're a new immigrant to the country or you're a first-generation immigrant to Canada, it's hard for a lot of people to get their heads around that. But we actually live here in a phenomenal country. There are billions of people around the world who would love to move here. So you don't really realize that until you're gone for a while. So love Costa Rica as I did. Susie and I both decided that Canada would be a better place to raise our children and to have them go to school. But moving back posed a problem because I'd been out of Canada since 1990. I'd been out for like 14 or 15 years by that time. Well, yeah, 14 years by that time. And I had never really established any credit in Canada. So I was coming back. Sure, I had the passport and I had the language down reasonably well, but I didn't have any established credit, didn't have very much money, I didn't have a job, I wanted to be self-employed. So when I went in to kind of ask about getting a mortgage to buy a house, I was laughed out of the bank. They said, no way. And I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, so one night I was watching TV and I saw one of those late night infomercials, one of those how to get rich in real estate ads from our friends down south of the border. And I picked up the phone and ordered the program and studied it, and I actually invested over $10,000 in different real estate programs and coaching and courses and that sort of things. And it didn't quite work here in Canada exactly how it was put there, so I had to massage it and Canadianize it. And my focus for just about 2 years was on flips. So I did 18 flips in 18 months, which was my claim to fame for a while. So you can see some of the properties I worked on were really nice ones, like the one in the top left picture. A lot of them were not so nice, kind of like the one on the top right picture, and a few in between as well. Then in 2005, early 2006, I met Canadian rich dad Darren Weeks. Worked exclusively with him for about 5 years as the marketing guy for his fast track group of companies. And it was my pleasure to help him get his company to the Profit 100 list of fastest growing companies in Canada and go from 4 employees and 1 little office to, I believe, over 125 employees and 7 branch offices across Western Canada. That was a lot of fun. I never lost my passion for real estate investing. Started teaching it with Darren and later on with my good friend Ken Beaton, with whom I wrote this book called Creative Real Estate Investing for Canadians. And Ken and I had the pleasure of training hundreds and hundreds of Canadians about how to invest creatively in real estate. And one of the things that everybody was always really interested about was how I did my rent-to-own deals. Speaking of books, just published the newest book, Rent-to-Own Profits for Canadians, which I wrote with my big brother Dan Dubeau. And Dan is a professional rent-to-own investor based in Halifax, Nova Scotia. So it works here in Kamloops, works way over on the other side of the country in Halifax, and everywhere in between as well. So I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. Here's a picture of me after my first successful parachute jump. Thank goodness I haven't had any unsuccessful ones. There I'm doing a little zip line in the jungle, trying my hand at surfing, and you'll notice a distinct lack of any Hawaii 5-0 sized waves in the background. There's my wife Susie and I doing a little tropical ocean kayaking. Picture myself with my kids up north skiing. One of the things I love about this profession, what I get to do is work with fine folks and actually do fun stuff with people as well. So there's a group of us that went down to Mexico a couple of years ago. Last year, another group of us went to Scottsdale, Arizona, spent time with Rich Dad advisor Ken McElroy, top left picture there. Went and zipped around the Grand Canyon, had a great time. I've had the pleasure of sharing the stage with some fantastic people like Big George Foreman and Dragon's Den star Robert Herjavec, some really fantastic folks there. And my passion is I really enjoy teaching folks just like you how to do real estate investing the right way and create their ideal lifestyle through rent-to-own real estate investing. So that's what I really enjoy doing. So what are some of the problems and challenges a lot of folks are facing today? What I'm seeing today is that people are afraid to get involved in real estate investing. They don't have much time. They may not have much money available, or they don't know how to attract investors. They don't know how to get started or where to turn if they get stuck. Others have low self-esteem and think this kind of thing only works for others but not for them. Some people think this won't work in their area or that there's already too much competition. Well, I'm here to tell you there is a solution. I figured it all out for you. You don't have to worry about any of that. I figured it out, and my system is the solution, and that is the rent-to-own cash-on-demand system for Canadians. And I'm going to be telling you about that at the end of the program here. But first of all, let me ask you a question. Did you know that over 30% of all Canadians who can afford a mortgage right now don't qualify for one with the strict bank requirements? So put another way, that means 30% of Canadians who could actually pay for a house, who could afford the mortgage payments on a house, can't get one because they don't qualify for a mortgage. That is a huge market. And now, the way the situation is right now with the banks and the central bank, they're tightening things up even more, so that number is going to grow even more. So that is absolutely fantastic news for us as rent-to-own real estate investors because we can help more people. All right, so if you're going to take notes, now's the time to get started. I'm going to be talking quite quickly. However, I'm going to go over each one of these 5 steps in detail, so don't try and just copy it down all at once. We've got some time on this. So I'm going to teach you the 5 steps to get set up, running, and profitable in rent-to-own investing in any Canadian market. All right, so get ready to write these down. First one, step 1 is to attract clients. So again, we're going to be treating this as a business. Our rent-to-own in real estate investing is a business, and like any business, we need to attract clients. Now, some people say, Dave, why do you call them clients? Why don't you call them tenants or tenant buyers or customers? And the reason is because I consider these folks to be clients. This is a long-term relationship that we're having together where I'm helping them get into a home. I'm helping them get their credit in line so that they will qualify for a mortgage at the end of the term to purchase the home from me. So I don't see it as just a kind of quick one-off transaction. It's more of a medium-term relationship. So that's why I call them clients. So step 1 is to attract clients. We need to fill up our marketing funnel with prospective clients. Then step number 2 is once you've filled up that funnel, we need a quick and efficient way to pre-screen and sort those folks. Step number 3, we get the property under contract. Step number 4, we get the client qualified during the deal and enjoy massive cash flow. And step number 5 is cashing out. So put together visually, it looks a little bit like this. And I'm going to, again, in this presentation, I'm going to give you a couple of my strategies. The rest you're going to learn and discover with my rent-to-own cash-on-demand system. So again, what do you think? If I can do multiple rent-to-own deals in a small town like Kamloops, you could easily do at least one where you are, right? It makes sense. So again, here's a visual of how the whole program works. First of all, we're going to be attracting clients. Second step is pre-screening, quickly sifting and sorting folks. Step number 3, we're going to be acquiring the property. Step number 4 is when we get the family into the property, our client into the property, we're going to help them get qualified and enjoy cash flow throughout the process. Step number 5 is cash the checks. And that's kind of the sound that it makes, cha-ching. I love that sound, cha-ching. Feel free to repeat that with me, cha-ching. All right, very good. Now let's get in depth on each one of these steps. So step number 1, attracting clients. So again, we're going to treat this as a business. And like any business, we need to attract clients to us. So the first thing you need to have, in my opinion, you really, really need to have this because this is where we're talking about technology making the job so much easier. You need a powerful lead generation website which does the heavy lifting for you, which helps you to sift and sort your prospective clients. And if we've got a website up there, we need to drive traffic to us. So we need to use effective online advertising techniques. Depending on where you are, different things work better in different places, but generally speaking, Kijiji is a phenomenal source for this. Craigslist works very well in certain areas, and some areas have specific websites, classified type ad websites that work very, very well for them. So whatever works best in your area is what you're going to want to focus on. Now, you can still be using newspaper classified ads. If you've noticed over the last 5 or 7 years, their newspaper classified ads section has drastically shrunk. However, that can be a competitive advantage because you don't have as many other ads competing for people's attention in the newspaper anymore. So a classified ad can still work very, very well. Another thing is old-fashioned business cards and tear tab signs. These can work very well as well, which is putting up those little signs in supermarkets, convenience stores, coffee shops, etc., with a little tab at the bottom where the people could tear it off and contact you. That works very, very well. So, and last but not least, I want to share one of the simplest, easiest, and least expensive marketing strategies that is available to all of us, and that is turning your vehicle into a rolling billboard. So if you go visit Mr. Jimmy Pattison and try to get one of his billboards wherever it is you're living, chances are it's going to cost you $1,500 to $2,000 a month per billboard. Why not save that money, turn your own vehicle into a rolling billboard, and do it that way? So the top picture on this slide is my I Buy Houses minivan from years ago. Those were permanent signs on there, and I got two of my most profitable flip deals from those signs, and it worked very, very well. The picture below is my newest vehicle, an FJ Cruiser, with my renting sucks rent to own signage on that, and I can trace one, maybe even two of my current deals directly to that signage. So let's see, those signs, those magnetic signs, cost me about $120, and the deal I've got is going to generate approximately $38,000 in profit. So let's see, $120 in, $38,000 out. What's my ROI on that? Can you quickly calculate that for me? Okay, don't bother. I'll tell you what it is. It's awesome. That's what it is. How would you like to get that kind of return on your investment? Now, I don't know why more people don't do this. It works so well. But one of the things I can see is some people are kind of embarrassed about driving around with this kind of signage on their vehicle, or more like their spouse or their kids are embarrassed about them driving around with that. So the solution to that is have magnetic signs. So you're in there with the spouse and the kids, you can take the signs off. You're driving around by yourself, you can have the signs on, working for you 24/7 and turning your vehicle into a rolling billboard. Works very, very well. Okay, so you know that I've got a system for you that I'm going to offer at the end of the presentation. I'm not going to let you down. And again, the opportunity is a step-by-step system where I'm going to teach you how to get into profitable rent-own investing and become financially free. So here's one of the comments from one of our students. Thank you, Dave, for everything. This course exceeded my expectations. Along with your R2O expertise, you brought in some very interesting weekly guests that just augmented the course content extremely well. You got me to take action each week, which I'm thankful for. I'm miles ahead with my own rent-own company in Ottawa than I was before the course. Thanks again. And that's from Chris Vaudry, Ottawa, Ontario. All right, step number 2, if you're taking notes, is pre-screening our clients. So again, once we get our marketing machine up and rolling, you're going to get a lot of people very, very excited about working with you. After all, over 30% of Canadians who can afford a mortgage don't qualify for one right now. That's a huge market, but you're not going to be able to work with everyone. So you need to know how to quickly and efficiently pre-screen prospects. And again, your website's going to do a lot of that for you. They're going to be filling out the form on the website. You get those emailed to you. You can quickly sift and sort and see who's an A, B, C, or D client, and you're going to focus on the A's and the B's. How do you know if they're an A or B? Well, you're going to be looking at several things. Income is very important. So here in Kamloops, with our economy and the price of our houses here, I'm looking for folks with a gross family income of $40,000 a year or higher. And by gross family income, I mean before taxes. That's very important, before taxes. Now, depending on the price of homes where you're at, maybe you need a gross family income that's a little bit higher, maybe $45,000, $50,000. whatever it is that works in your area. Next thing we're going to look at is credit fixability. It's okay if they got some blemishes on their credit, they don't have great credit, as long as it can be fixed within 2 to 3 years. So what does that mean? That usually means for us, we're looking at people that have 425 or higher on their credit scores. Next thing, you want to really check out what's the backstory. Why can't they buy the home now? Why is it that they don't qualify for a mortgage? Exactly. Get the true story. Next thing is, very, very important, put a big star behind that, cash on hand. If they don't have any cash, no deal. All right? No cash, no deal. Write that down. How much cash do we want to have? I'm looking for folks that have at least 4% of the initial purchase price of the property that they can put towards the property is what's called a non-refundable option fee. Now again, that option fee applies towards their down payment when they purchase the property, but if for any reason they decide they don't want to go through with the deal, it is non-refundable. They do not get that money back. All right, so you want to make sure that they've got some cash on hand. And last but definitely not least, realistic expectations. So if somebody's got a $50,000 annual income, but they're looking for $1 million home, you will never ever be able to help that person. They've got completely unrealistic expectations. They are out to lunch, and put them aside, because it's very hard, if not impossible, to fix stupid. Okay, that's pretty blunt, but it's very true. So write this down. Here are my two of 5 favorite categories of people that I love to do rent-to-own deals with. 2 of the favorite 5 categories would be new immigrants to the country. I love working with new immigrants because they tend to be very, very motivated. They've had to jump through so many hoops to get into the country. Typically they have some money, they just don't have any credit established yet, but we can very quickly help them get that credit established and qualify for a home. Plus, they really want to live the Canadian dream. They're super motivated. They're going to do what it takes to make it happen. So I love new immigrants to the country. And number 2 category of the 5 of my favorite 5 type of people to work with are self-employed individuals. So it used to be that you could be self-employed and you could be writing off a lot of stuff and claiming a very low income and still get a mortgage with what's called a stated income mortgage. However, now that the banks have tightened everything up, those kind of mortgages have gone away. So these self-employed folks who are saving money on taxes have actually kind of shot themselves in the foot when it comes to qualifying to buy a home. So we can work with them because they are actually making the money. They just need a couple of years to be able to show that on their tax returns to be able to qualify. So I love working with self-employed folks. Make sure that they've got at least 2 years track record of working for themselves. So, all right, hopefully that's been very helpful. There's a lot of information, I know, but it's that's what we're here to do, is educate you about this. Here's another comment from one of our students. If there's any program worthwhile taking in order to help you jump into action, this has to be it. Dave's ability to teach, explain, and stir us up to get us going is the one thing that kept me on the live training every single week. By following his well-defined steps, I've been able to realize my dream of having a solid real estate investment business and still help folks get into homes they may never have been able to acquire without this system. And that's from Gary Levesque in Victoria, BC. All right, step number 3, getting the property. So once we've got our marketing machine up and going, once we've found a prospective client that really fits our system, meets our criteria, the next thing is to send them out house shopping. So we send them out with our friendly realtor, want them to pick 2 or 3 different options in case the first one doesn't work out. You're then going to go with them and a professional home inspector to check out the property. If there are any big problems with the property, you go on to the next one. If it's just a few little cosmetic things, you can go back and renegotiate the price a little bit. Then you're going to negotiate the price of the property. You're going to buy it yourself or get it under contract to turn it over to an investor to buy for you. One of those 2 things. And then you're going to be getting the client into the home. So again, what kind of properties do we want to focus on? Well, I'll tell you what kind of properties we don't want to focus on. So you want to avoid 2 main kinds of properties. Well, 3 actually. You want to avoid fixer-uppers. You do not want handyman specials. These should be homes that are ready to move into as is. Okay, very important. Second thing you want to avoid are rural properties in rural areas. Why? Well, just because there are so many things that could go wrong with them that are very, very expensive, I prefer to avoid those. And the next category are mobile homes in mobile home parks. Why do we want to avoid mobile homes in mobile home parks? Because really, at the end of the day, you never really own the property. You're just renting the property. The mobile is sitting on somebody else's property and you're paying pad rent every single month. So I don't like those. Plus, there's rules and regulations in the mobile home park. You could actually potentially get kicked out, you and your mobile home park, and left on the side of the road, and that's absolutely no good. So to put it bluntly, mobile homes and mobile home parks are basically a piece of tin on somebody else's dirt, and that's no good for this program, so avoid them at all costs. Okay, rent-to-own success story. This is my big brother, Dan Dubeau, based in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and Dan was a professional certified financial planner for 23 years. And when I was doing my 18 flips in 18 months, Dan was always asking me about the kind of deals I was doing. He was very interested in those things, and I was showing him how rent-to-own worked and what a great concept it was. So he did his first rent-to-own deal in 2007. And then, after the last market correction, if we would, Dan said, I've had enough of this. He gave up his career of 23 years and jumped in full time into rent-to-own real estate investing in 2009. And he's got over 20 rent-to-own deals under his belt at the time of this recording. All right. The fact that when it comes to rent-to-own deals, Dave, I believe you have no peers. This is an excellent addition to those that already have the book. You talk the talk and you most definitely walk the walk. And that's from Ralph Stanfield from Toronto. Okay, step number 4 of our 5-step process is getting our client qualified. All right, so this is one of the areas that I see uneducated rent-to-own investors making mistakes all of the time. And that is they get a client into the property and then they just let it kind of go and they just cash the checks and they don't do any ongoing support and follow up with their client. And that's a huge mistake. So you want to do several things. First of all, you want to create a plan from the very beginning, showing them where they are now, where they need to get, and what they need to do in the process. Now, if you don't know how to do that, that's no problem. You can get a professional credit counselor who can do this for you. However, what you do want to do is have regular meetings with your client at the property. How regular? I suggest every 3 months at the property. The reason being is here in beautiful BC, at least, we've got a big problem with grow operations, marijuana grow ops. So I've been told by a reliable source that it takes about 3.5, 4 months for a crop to go from planting to harvest. So if you meet with them every 3 months, that wouldn't give them enough time to have a complete crop go through. Does that make sense? Plus, you want to be meeting with them on a quarterly basis to make sure that they're on track with their plan for improving their credit. So just to give you a little background story, I have had several cases where I'm meeting with a prospective client, I'm explaining the program to them, and here's what I say. I would say, okay, I'm going to meet with you at the property every 3 months, and here's why. First of all, I want to make sure that everything's going well with the property. I want to sit down, make sure that things are going well with your plan for improving your credit and everything. And then I also want to make sure that you don't have a grow up in the basement. You can understand that, right? Now, I say it with a little bit of a smile, a little bit of a smirk, but they know that I'm serious. And I'll tell you this, I've had a couple of people actually get up at that point, excuse themselves, and walk out of the meeting. Now, that is a very good thing. That just saved me a whole bunch of trouble. It'll save you a whole lot of pain, too. So make sure you do that. Okay. Now, again, you got to remember, while they're in the program, while they're in this deal, they are responsible for the property maintenance. That is their responsibility. You don't have to worry about the typical tenant headaches. These are not like tenants. These are actually what I call homeowners in training. So again, that's beautiful. You don't have to be worrying about those 3 a.m. plugged toilet calls ever again. Okay, here's one of my favorite success stories. Matt and Les Crowley. This is a father-son team from Edmonton, Alberta. They did their first rent-own deal not that long ago, and they got $10,000 up front, $1,276 a month positive cash flow, and another almost $13,000 payday at the end for a total profit of over $40,000. Now, this is a very cool story because these guys are both super busy. Les is a full-time, I believe he's an engineer with his own consultancy firm, very, very busy with that. And Matt is a full-time university student who, unlike some of the rest of us, is actually a brainiac student who takes his studies very seriously. So they're doing this very part-time as a way of creating additional income, basically creating a full-time income with part-time effort, which you can do as well. Dave more than over-delivered on his promise to ensure that we are successful. This course is easily worth $5,000. I've paid much more for other courses and received 10 times less than what Dave has given. If you're thinking about taking the course, just stop and do it. I'm so glad that I did, and I don't regret a penny. That's a nice comment from Jeffrey Free from Edmonton, Alberta. All right, here we are on step number 5, cashing the check. So again, this is the 3-way payday. I'm going to quickly go over the 3 ways you get paid with this kind of rent-to-own real estate investing. So first of all is upfront money. And again, that's called the non-refundable option fee. And if you remember, that's at least 4% of the purchase price of the property. That money, that option fee, applies towards their down payment when they purchase the property, and that's a big chunk of what they're going to need to be able to qualify to purchase the property at the end of the 2 or the 3 years. The next thing we have is our outstanding monthly cash flow. A lot of people say, Dave, how do you get such high cash flow from a single family home? Well, it's really quite simple, actually. We're charging 20 to 30% over market rents. That's right, 20 to 30% over market rents. How are we able to do that? Why are we able to do that? Well, because again, these are not typical tenants. These are homeowners in training. Plus, a portion of the rent that they're paying each month is getting credited back to them as rental credits. And again, this is kind of like a forced savings account for them for putting in money towards their down payment. So when they purchase the property, they've got all of their down payment money already paid in. So the combination of the over market rent that we're charging, plus the fact the way I structure my deals with my investors gives me great monthly cash flow. That's how we can be getting $500, $800, $1,000 a month or more net cash flow from these deals. Plus, you have to remember, any maintenance issues with the property, our client is responsible for, so we don't have to come out of pocket for those costs either. And then we're getting a cash out at the end. So we're going to be buying the property at today's price. We're going to be selling the property to our client 2 or 3 years down the road at the future price, which is going to be higher. There's a spread in there. There's also a mortgage pay down in there. So by the time we get everything paid out, and everybody paid out, and the mortgage paid out, and our investors out, and all that kind of good stuff, and the credits back to our tenants, there's still usually a $2,000, $6,000, $10,000 payday for us at the end of each deal as well. So that's how the money works. That's the 3-way payday cash-wise. Here's another one of our rent-to-own success stories. Gene and Allan Minchau from Spring Coulee, Alberta, nice little rural area. They took the rent-to-own training. They have one deal under the belts. They're looking at a $40,000 total profit on their first little rent-to-own deal. Thanks, Dave. As usual, you're a great source of information and an inspiration. Can't wait to put it all into action. All right, another one of our great success stories, Rick Wheeler from St. Albert, Alberta. Rick is already a successful investor with 8 properties in his portfolio, but like a lot of folks, he had a couple of properties that weren't working as well as he'd like, so he wanted to get rid of them. He was having a hard time renting them, having a hard time selling them. It looked like he was going to have to sell them at a loss. Then he took this program and he applied what he learned to his own properties, and he did phenomenally well. On one of the properties, he got a $14,000 non-refundable option fee. On the other one, he got an amazing $40,000 non-refundable option fee on the other one. Plus, he's going to be able to sell these properties for full price, not have to pay any real estate commissions to a realtor. He's going to, in the meantime, enjoy above market rents and have 0 tenant and toilet hassles in the meanwhile. Fantastic way to deal with underperforming properties in your portfolio. Here's a little update on what he's up to. He says, Dave, I'm on my 3rd deal now and loving every second of it. My goal for 2012 was to generate 4 rent-to-own deals, but with 3 done and it only being March, I might need to reassess my goals. I guess so, Rick. Great way to go, buddy. All right. Here's a few more deals from my portfolio here in Kamloops. This is a little townhouse deal we've got on the go. In this particular case, we got $15,000 up front, non-refundable option fee, $767 a month cash flow, a $6,000 payday at the end of 2 years for a total profit of just over $39,000. This next property is actually an example of my very first rent-to-own deal when I was doing my 18 flips in 18 months. And here's You want to take notes on this. This is an example of a sandwich lease. So if you remember way back at the beginning of the presentation, I told you I was going to show you how to do rent to own if you wanted to, with no money down, no investors, very little risk, and your credit is irrelevant. So this is a good example of that. So the backstory on this is with my advertising, my marketing, I attracted a very motivated seller who contacted me. And this gentleman, about 3 or 4 years previous, had read a book that said, hey, real estate investing is a good idea. You should have a rental property. He closed the book. He ran out and bought a property. That was about the extent of his education about real estate investing. And it went okay for the first year and a half or 2 years. He had some okay tenants. And then he started getting the tenants from hell. The first tenant from hell he got was a drug dealer who turned the property into a drug house. So they had druggy people hanging around at all hours of the night. This guy's neighbors absolutely hated him. He had to evict the fellow. Took him a long time, cost him a lot of money, all that kind of stuff. And it was just a bad experience. His next tenant was just as bad, if not worse. Turned out to be a biker who invited all of his biker buddies over there. They had their Harleys out there. They're making a lot of noise, having big parties, wrecking the place. Then he stopped paying the rent as well, so he had to actually evict the biker and then repair all of the damages on the property. So by this time, he's starting to get pretty fed up. Then he finally has a tenant come in who looks absolutely perfect. Nice-looking young woman, professionally dressed, great references, a single mom. She had a good job, good solid paying job. He thought, hallelujah, I've got it made. So he rented the place to her. She failed to tell him about her drug-dealing biker boyfriend who moved in with her. So again, another big rigmarole. The house got thrashed. He had to evict people. And by that time, he was done. He was just finished being a landlord, but the market was soft, so he wasn't able to sell it. And there it was sitting vacant because he didn't want to deal with tenants anymore. So he contacted me. We came up with a deal. And what I love about this is everything's transparent. So I said, okay, Mr. Seller, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to lease your property with an option to purchase it in the next 2 to 3 years. We're going to agree upon a lease amount, a rental payment that you're going to be able to live with, and that still gives me some room for profit. We're going to agree upon a sales price that we're both going to be happy with and that you can live with and that's fair. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a client who doesn't quite qualify for a mortgage right now, but who will in the next 2 to 3 years. I'm going to work with them, help them get qualified to buy the house, and they're going to purchase the house. What I'm paying you for rent, they're going to be paying me something more. That's part of my profit. You can understand that I need to make a profit, can't you, Mr. Seller? Yes, of course, you understood that. And then also at the end of the deal, I'm going to sell the house to them for a higher price than I've agreed to pay you. That's another part of the profit. So you understand that I need to make a profit on this. So again, all of the cards are on the table. He was fine with that. He was looking for a solution to his headache, and I provided that to him. So I was able to do that, tie up that deal basically with $10 to make it legal. That was all it cost me. I then turned around and found a qualified client for this property. I got a $7,000 non-refundable upfront option fee from them. The difference between what I was paying the original owner and what they were paying me was $650 a month. So that was my net cash flow. And on this deal, I had a total profit of a little bit over $30,000, and that was just under 2 years for that deal. And that was all with no money, no investors, and minimal risk. How would you like to do a deal like that? I'm sure you would. Okay, speaking of sandwich leases, Paul Hecht is one of my special guests on the program. Paul is the author of Everyday Real Estate Millionaires. He's a regular contributing writer to Canadian Real Estate Wealth magazine. And Paul has a lot more experience than I do when it comes to doing sandwich leases. So I've done 3 up to date right now, sandwich leases in the past. Paul's done well over a dozen. So I wanted him on the program to really show us the ins and outs because he's got so much experience with sandwich leases. So I learned a lot from Paul, but I was able to teach him something as well. I was able to show him a very simple little addition to my contract, which virtually eliminates all of your risk from doing sandwich leases. And Paul said that just that one little idea was worth the entire price of the program and then some. So how would you like to do those kind of deals with no money, no investors, super low risk? I'm sure you would. And that's what we teach you in this program as well. So again, here's another one of our example deals. That property in Kamloops, $12,000 up front, total profit of just over $41,000 in 2 years. Another one of the deals, a little townhouse deal in Kamloops. I got $8,000 up front, $603 a month cash flow, total profit a little over $33,400 in 2 years. Next deal we've got here is a nicer house, a house in Merritt, a small town near Kamloops. 11.5 up front, just over $1,000 a month net positive cash flow. We're going to see another $2,300 payday at the end of the 2 years for a total profit of $39,408 over 2 years. How would you like to have a couple of deals like that? Okay, and here's another sample deal, a mobile home in a mobile home park here in Kamloops. Ooh, what did I just say? Didn't I say before if there's any kind of deal you want to avoid, it's a mobile home in a mobile home park? Yes, but here's the exception to the rule. You'll notice that I've got in red, this is a sandwich lease. So again, let's look at this. If you're not putting up any money, if you got no money at risk, if you don't need to be working with investors, if it doesn't involve any of your credit, and if it's very, very low to no risk, why not do it? So that is how you can do rent-own deals with mobile homes, is if you do sandwich leases. So this particular deal, I got $3,000 up front from my client. I'm seeing $325 a month net positive cash flow, which might not sound as exciting as $1,000 a month, but really it is. If you think about it, that's the equivalent of 4 or 5 traditional buy and hold properties. The cash flow I'm getting from this one little mobile is like having 5 traditional buy and hold properties. I'm going to see a total profit of just under $13,000 in 2 years with this one little deal. And one of the reasons I like this little deal so much is because it's so doable. A lot of people, when you're talking about $30,000 deals, $50,000 deals, it's a little bit out of their comfort zone right now, especially just getting started. But anybody can do this kind of deal, this little kind of deal here, where you're making, maybe $3,000 or $4,000 up front, $300 a month cash flow, $13,000, $15,000 profit. That's within a lot of people's comfort zone, especially to get started. So I want to show you this example because anybody can do these kind of little deals. All right, next one of our newer deals, a larger property. This is a $14,000 upfront fee, $897 a month cash flow, total profit of over $52,000, and this is a 3-year deal, and that's why the total profit is quite a bit higher. All right, now the rent-own cash-on-demand system has everything you need to help you get on your path with super profitable rent-own real estate investing. And I want to help you to accomplish your goals and get your why, whatever that might be. Perhaps it's to be able to spend more time with your family. Maybe it's having more money, more financial security. Perhaps you'd like to buy nicer things like vehicles and properties and homes, or travel, have vacations. Maybe you'd like freedom. You'd like to be able to quit your job and fire your BOSS. Maybe you want to help out your favorite cause more. Whatever it is, whatever your why is, my goal is to help you accomplish that through super profitable rent-to-own real estate investing. So how would you like to have access to the exact systems that I use to generate this kind of profits and these kind of cash flow from these kind of deals? But before I give you this opportunity, which is available in the rent-own cash-on-demand system for Canadians, let me show you some features and benefits of the system. So quick overview. By following my proven system, you save so much time and so much money from trying to learn it the hard way. Right? It's kind of like, why reinvent the wheel when I have created the car for you? Does that make sense? And by following my system, it makes it a much quicker and easier process for you, a much more secure way to head towards financial freedom. And it's a huge competitive advantage compared to those folks out there that are doing this unprofessionally, kind of as a pastime or as a part-time thing. When you treat it like a business and you get it set up from the get-go like a business, it's a huge competitive advantage. So let me tell you a little bit about all of the components of this phenomenal program. So the first thing is you can get up and running today if you want. As soon as you enroll, you'll be automatically emailed a link to the university where you can choose your own username and password. That means you can get started on your path right away as soon as you want. So this is the online training university. We've got all of the CDs, the videos, the audios, the handouts, all of our calculators, all of our paperwork. Everything is up, available for you online 24/7. and you get access to it anytime you want from any computer with internet access. This is a very real world value of $19.95. Next, we've got, if you're kind of like me, a little bit more hands-on, we've got all of the recordings, handouts, and PowerPoint slides. I've created everything in a nice home study package for you that you're going to be getting in the mail. It'll be arriving in the mail on your doorstep very soon when you enroll in the program. And this includes all of the handouts. It's got the presentations that I did in video format on DVD. We've taken the audio. We've got audio CDs so you can turn your vehicle into a rolling university. You can listen to this in your vehicle or as you're exercising at home or what have you. Plus, we've got everything written out so you can read along, take notes, highlight it. We've got you covered. It doesn't matter how you like to learn. If it's visual, if it's auditory, if it's reading, writing, we've got you covered with this program. Next thing is I had a computer programmer put all of this together for us in a very easy use format, and that's my Rent to Own Profits deal calculator and software, and that's a very real world value of $797. Allows you to quickly and easily see if it's a deal or no deal. Just plunk in a few basic numbers and the rest is done for you, and it shows you if the deal is going to work or not, or what you need to do to make it a good deal. Next, we've got the legal library, the forms, contracts, and paperwork, and you can refer back to these and use these to create your own deals. I've got all of the paperwork that you need if you're in British Columbia like I am, and also for Alberta. So I paid over $1,200 to have my legal paperwork put together. I've got the best of the best in BC and Alberta who put together this paperwork. You get this for free as part of the program. That's a very real world value of at least $1,200. Next, I've created an awesome visual aid for you. This is my rent-to-own dealmaker blueprint. Gives you a 30,000-foot overview of the entire rent-to-own process. That's a real world value of $399. You get that as part of the program as well. Plus, Freedom to Profit Unlimited online coaching. What does that mean? That means I've got a dedicated email address just for my rent-to-own students that you will be getting access to. Any questions, concerns, anything that comes up, anything that you want to know about rent-to-own real estate investing, zip me a quick email. I'm checking it usually daily, at least 4 times a week. I'll get back to you very quickly and answer your questions, as many as you have. And that's unlimited online coaching. That's a very real world value of $995. Next, this next thing is huge. This is my stamp of approval deal review. So when you're up and running with your rent-to-own business, chances are with your first deal, you might be a little nervous, right? So this is like me virtually holding your hand through your first deal. So what you do is when you're working on a deal, you just put down the basic numbers for me on the deal review sheet, send it to me, I'll take a look over it, make sure that everything makes sense, make sure that you're doing everything properly, help you out if there's anything that needs tweaking, and get that back to you. Make sure that you're doing your first deals right. That's my stamp of approval deal review. I don't even know how to put a value on that, so I'm calling it priceless. All right. Next thing, we've got the Rapid Results Fast Start Guide and CD. This is a way to get you quickly up and started very fast. And this is what I'd like you to read and listen to first to give you the big overall picture of the whole program and get you started on where the highest impact thing is for you at your particular level of expertise right now. This is another real world value of $395. Whew, that's a lot of stuff. Let's take a quick look at everything that's included with this amazing new Canadian real estate investing program. So again, we got the online training university, we've got the on-demand recordings and printouts, we've got the deal calculator and software. All of your legal documents, the forms, contracts, and paperwork are included. The Rent-to-Own Dealmaker Blueprint to give you the big overview. The Freedom to Profit Unlimited online coaching directly with me. My stamp of approval deal review. The Rapid Results Quick Start Guide and CD. Total retail value of all of this, if sold separately, $6,477. And let me ask you, $6,477, I don't know if that sounds like a lot or a little to you, but let me ask you, if all this system did was get you your first little rent-to-own deal and you made an extra $30,000 or $40,000, would it be worth the investment? Of course it would. If all this system did was get you 4 or 5 little rent-to-own deals to replace your current JOB income, would it be worth the investment? Of course it would. Yes, it would. If all this system did was show you how to be financially free and live life on your own terms, would it be worth it? Of course it would. Do you want that now? When is now the time to take control and really make things work with your life? But of course, I've got a better deal for you. It's not $6,477. In fact, our regular price online for this, your risk-free investment, is $2,497. But again, I want to reward you for taking action and coming out to the live event, or at least enrolling for it and watching this program. So I've got a very special offer for you. This is just valid until the end of the week, until this Friday. This is the same pricing I offered the folks at the live event. I'm going to extend that offer for a very limited time to you. All right, so I want to reward you for coming out. So your risk-free investment is just $19.97 for the entire program. That's right, just $19.97. And again, this is only until this Friday. Okay, so go ahead and scroll down below this right now, and you can get started right away and enroll right away. And you're going to get immediate access to everything online, so you can start on your path right away. And the rest of the package is going to arrive on your doorstep as fast as Canada Post can possibly get it to you. All right, and who else besides me has been ripped off at some point? Okay, I want to allay any concerns you might have with my personal 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. And this is how it works. Take action now and try the complete system for 90 days. That's 3 full months. If you aren't absolutely thrilled for any reason, simply return it for a complete, no hassles, no questions, no hard feelings refund. That's right, a complete refund. You get 3 months to try it all out, 90 days. Check out the online components. Get the package, read through it, take notes, look through it, use it, try it all out. And if for any reason you aren't thrilled with it, just return it for a complete refund. No hassles, no problem. Does it get any better than that? No, it doesn't. Now, if you're a bargain hunter, we've got a great deal for you. So I'm going to sweeten the deal even more. I'm going to give you the same fast action bonuses that I offered people at the live event. And I'd like to give you the extra impetus to take action and to take action this right now. So the first fast action bonus is an autographed copy of my Rent-Home Profits for Canadian books. Not only that, but I'm going to autograph it and dedicate it just for you. So that makes it a priceless bonus, if you ask me. All right, the next thing is very, very cool as well. This is a personal rent-own strategy session with yours truly, Dave Dubeau. One-on-one personalized strategy session over Skype or over the phone, whatever you prefer, 30 to 45 minutes. I get you on track with your success in rent-own real estate investing, answer any questions or concerns you might have, work with you on any deals that you're working with at the moment. Whatever you need, we can go over during this personal strategy session with me, and that's definitely a very real-world value of $995. Plus, next very cool thing, our upcoming Rent-Home Profits Summit here in beautiful Kamloops, BC. This is a ticket for you to attend, network with other rent-own real estate investors, discover the latest cutting-edge strategies, tips, and techniques. I've put on different events like this before, so saying that this is a very real-world value of $19.95 is an understatement, because I'm going to give you lunch both days, dinner one day, and you're even allowed to bring a guest for free. How cool is that? So let's hear from one of the students, a couple of our students that came to these rent-own summits in the past. So let's hear what they have to say.
My name is Dave Rathbone, and I'm from the Lower Mainland, Port Moody.
Okay, and what do you think of the summit so far?
Well, the summit's been great. You know, I mean, Dave Dubeau puts on a program, and he always delivers more than what you would expect, and it's no different this time. And he's put on a fantastic weekend here for all of us, and we've all learned some valuable stuff that's going to make us some money.
All right, that's a great comment. We got one more here from Gary Lebec.
Gary Levesque from Victoria, BC. I'm just happy to be here. Dave has already over-delivered. You know, it's just so much fun. Just a easy-going atmosphere. And we've had so much of the experts coming in on Skype, and we've got another one that's coming in now. It's more than I ever expected. It's more than the one thing that I was looking for, and I'm quite more than pleased.
All right, appreciate those comments. Now, not only that, but another huge bonus is I'm going to be putting on these rent-own summits once, probably twice a year. So when you invest and when you enroll in this program, not only do you get to come to the next Rent-to-Own Summit, but you get lifetime reattendance. You can come back as often as you'd like. Again, you can bring a guest. You get all of the up-to-date information and strategies. Great way to network and joint venture with other attendees and see exactly what I'm doing now with my rent-to-own business here in Kamloops. Now, something very, very cool. This is an optional mega bonus. And if you remember, we were talking about sandwich leases and what you need to do with sandwich leases. Well, one of the things you really need to become very, very good at to get those sandwich leases where you can get in with no money down, no investors, and no risk is you have to get very good at attracting motivated sellers to you. And that's what this More Deals Now Canadian real estate marketing system is all about. It's about marketing to attract motivated sellers to put up their hand and to contact you. So this is absolutely free bonus. This is a $2,116 value bonus that you can check off when you enroll in the whole program below. This is included with a 3-month trial of the Elite Canadian Profits Diamond level of membership. So you get a 3-month trial of Canadian Profits Diamond plus the More Deals Now marketing system. Just check off the box on the enrollment form below this to get all of that with this optional mega bonus. Okay, so again, quickly going over the whole program. You get the online training university. You've got the cash on demand recordings and DVDs. You've got the deal calculator and software, the forms, contracts, and paperwork, the deal maker blueprint, the unlimited online coaching, the stamp of approval deal review where I virtually hold your hand through your first deal, the rapid results quick start guide and CD, autographed copy of Rent-to-Own Profits, a personal strategy session with me one-on-one, the Rent-to-Own Profits Summit, and unlimited reattendance, lifetime reattendance, plus the optional mega bonus of the More Deals Now marketing system and the 3-month diamond trial. All right, that's a total value of $13,579. But again, your special limited time offer valid until this Friday is only $19.97. And let me ask you this. If all this system did was get you your first little $30,000 rent-to-own deal, would it be worth it? Of course it would. If all this system did was get you 4 or 5 little rent-to-own deals to replace your current job income, would it be worth the investment? Of course it would. If all this system did was show you how to be financially free and live life on your own terms, would it be worth it? Of course it would. When is now the time to invest in this program? Right now, of course. All right. So this offer, again, is only valid until Friday. If you procrastinate, you will pay more. So you might as well enroll now and get the absolute best deal. And remember, you're going to get immediate access to everything on the online and university, so you can start on your path immediately. The rest of the package is going to be getting rushed to your door as soon as Canada Post can get it to you. And I'm going to give you the same opportunity that I gave the folks at the live event, and that is the opportunity to get everything for free. That's right. Who wants to get everything for free? Well, this is how this works. I'm going to be offering case study scholarships, and the way that works is when you enroll in the program, put what you learn to use. Do your first rent-to-own deal within the next 12 months and send me your success story and pictures. I'm then going to give you a case study scholarship. That means I'm going to give you back 100% of your investment in the program. That's right. I'm going to give you back all of your money. So at the end, you've got a deal and you've got the entire course for free. How cool is that? And again, this is valid for 12 full months from the day you invest in my system. So I want to encourage you to take action and enroll in the system right now. Here's some more comments. Dave more than over-delivered on his promise to ensure that we're successful. This course is easily worth $5,000. I've paid much more for other courses and received 10 times less than what Dave has given. If you're thinking about taking the course, stop and just do it. I'm so glad I did, and I don't regret a penny. That's from Jeffrey Free in Edmonton, Alberta. Here's a great story. Let's listen to this one.
Hi Dave, this is JP and Jade from J Companies. We thought it would be a good idea to give you a testimonial from Orlando, Florida. It's beautiful out here, and it's a little bit of a reward for us after we closed our first deal using your techniques in R2O. Jade, why don't you tell us a little bit about this program that we actually bought from Dave?
For sure. Dave, I'm so excited to tell you, your program is really great. We spent a lot of money on real estate programs, and yours is the one that has really made the deals happen. Your program is excellent. We were able to help 2 families. It was a complete win-win situation. The first family who was missing some mortgage payments was in pre-foreclosure, and unfortunately they didn't know what to do. So we helped them. We found a family that wanted to buy the house and didn't quite qualify for a mortgage today, but should in the next year or so. We got $4,000 up front. We're making $300 a month cash flow. And when the deal closes in 1 to 3 years, we're expected to make a profit of approximately $40,000. So that is really exciting. So thank you so much for your program. It really works, and we can't wait to work on the other deals coming up our way.
I love that testimonial. And that's an example. These guys went out and used what I showed them. They did a sandwich lease deal. They got $4,000 up front. They're seeing over $300 a month positive cash flow. They're going to see a total profit of approximately $40,000 within 3 years. That's all with no money down on their part, no investors, no credit needed, and next to no risk as well. So that's a phenomenal example of what you can accomplish as well. Another smash hit program, Dave. I went in hoping to expand my understanding of different types of real estate investing and came out with an operating business. You accomplish what you're constantly drilling into our heads, which is to under-promise and over-deliver. This is from Malcolm Sutter from Fort McMurray, Alberta. Dave, this has been a phenomenal course. If I had any doubts about going into this business, they're now gone. And you've prevented me, I'm sure, from many of the mistakes I would have made trying to do it by myself. Thanks to Dan, too. He was a good compliment to you. Ron Geddert from Abbotsford, BC. Last time I talked to Ron recently through one of our emails, he's got 3 deals on the go already. Hey Dave, all I can say is I'm so glad I made the decision to get in on the program. You've definitely overexceeded my expectations. The people you brought on the calls I felt were an amazing addition. I truly feel like I should have paid 5 times what I paid for the training. Very well thought out program and excellent support throughout the modules. Rick Wheeler from St. Albert, Alberta. Thank you for all your efforts and hard work. That was frickin' amazing. I never thought I'd learn so much. I thought with all the seminars and networking I've been to, I never thought I'd learn more in a webinar. Anyone who comes across this, sign up quick before Dave figures out it's worth more than he advertised it for. I would have paid double. Thanks again, Dave. And that's from Ray Cavallou from Winnipeg, Manitoba. All right. Thank you very much for participating and listening and watching this online presentation of the Rent-to-Own 3-Way Payday. What are you waiting for? Just scroll down the page, get your very own today. Again, this very special offer expires this Friday, and this site's going to be coming down. It will no longer be available, so take advantage of this right away. We've got different options. You've got a 3-pay option as well. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to get involved with the program. Your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Try it all out for 90 days. If you're not happy for any reason, send it back for a complete friendly refund. No hassles, no questions, no hard feelings. Plus, take advantage of my case study scholarship. So that means get the whole program. Try it all out. Put it to use. Get your first deal. Share your success story with me. Allow me to use you as a case study. And not only will you have a deal under your belt, but I'll refund you all of the money for the program as a case study, and you'll get the program for free. So this is a phenomenal offer. It's only available until this Friday. So just scroll down and take action and enroll today. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.